All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another iHoopsFL interview. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys give me a follow on Instagram at iHoopsFL. So I post all the highlights, all the best clips, all that good stuff from any of these interviews I've ever done. So definitely give me a follow on there. And also, if you guys want to see any of the other like different types of content that I put out basketball wise, I don't just do interviews. I also write articles. I also scout a little bit around my area. Also, if you guys want to see that as well, that will be on my Twitter page at iHoopsRecruits. So again, iHoopsFL for interview stuff, Twitter at iHoopsRecruits for articles and just some scouting takeaways about South Florida basketball. But anyways, let me bring on our guest right now. What's good, my guy? How you been?
Oh, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Just glad, got my first day of school out of the way. I don't know what happened to you, but like my first day of school today, or not for first day back from the break, we got I guess the first period, like the internet was down in the school. And because all the teachers have to be at school, but like the students is optional. And so my whole first period was a waste, and I didn't have to do anything. So that was kind of nice. I don't know how your first day back was.
Yeah, it was good. Just like a normal day, just wake up and get on the class. It's really been it.
Yeah, so I guess didn't get. Well, I was like, I'm like a little bit annoyed because I could have slept like an extra like hour and a half, like still in sleep, but instead I had to try to fall back asleep. But
Yeah.
regardless, like it was nice not doing anything for an hour. So that was pretty nice. But let's get right into the interview. And with ESPN coming out with the recent rankings, which you are included on, what's your take on where you were placed on that list?
To start that, it's a blessing to even be on the rankings. Be considered one of the top players in the country. I think it shows that my hard work is being noticed. As far as where I'm placed at, I don't really look into it too much because it's good to be on it, but at the end of the day, it's basketball and the rankings. Once you get on that court, it's nothing really a ranking can do for you. So I'm just happy to be on the list.
And for a guy like you, where you were included on that list, like I didn't even know the list was coming out on that day when they most recently updated it. Do they kind of let the guys know that are in contention of being placed, ranked on ESPN? They let you guys know like the list is going to come out soon, like just get ready, something like that, or do you not know anything, just like myself?
Yeah, I didn't know either. I found out. I went on Twitter and I seen it in my notifications and stuff. So I didn't know it was coming out either.
And like, is it something? So I guess if you never really went on Twitter, like, there's a good chance you may have never even seen yourself on the list in the first place, or do you sometimes go and like search it up and see where you're at and stuff like that?
Yeah, usually my parents, they're usually on Twitter a lot. They like to see the stuff posted about me. So they'll usually, if I don't know myself, they'll usually tell me.
Okay, because I mean I thought it'd be crazy, but I guess if your parents like weren't involved in your ranking stuff like that, then you really would have had no clue. Like if you even ranked like a 4-star or anything, you would have been clueless.
Yeah, probably if I didn't look at it that day, I probably wouldn't even have found out about it.
And I mean, even that stuff like is unimportant in like the grand scheme of things. Like, I mean, I feel like for myself, if I was a high school recruit, like I'm gonna need to know, like, am I ranked, because it could affect like my recruitment with getting offers, because those offers do matter. I mean, why have you kind of been that kind of guy where you don't really care about the rankings, or how many stars you got, or the cloud, or anything like that?
Because I feel for me, my next step in basketball is, become a college basketball player, and play at the next level. So I know, once you step out on that college floor, you're playing with a whole bunch of guys that were good in high school, and that's at your talent level. So really, once you get out there and at the next level, the stuff in high school that you did, it kind of matters to a point to get there. But I feel like once you're there, like the high school stars and stuff, that's really doesn't really matter because everybody's good at the college level. So that's why I really look at it in that perspective.
And going into the NBA, getting drafted, if the draft worked like this, where it was just like you could only be like this exact age to get drafted, they'd go, top 60 guys from whatever 2019 and top 60 from 2020. Like you're in that top 60 for 2022. So like if the draft happened today with a 2022 class, you'd be drafted to the NBA. Like how crazy is that, knowing like all you gotta do is just stay consistent, and that dream will probably come true.
Yes, definitely crazy to think about because it's a dream that I've always had since a kid. But I know now, just stay working and stay consistent on my game, and that your dream can come true as long as you work hard at it.
And this is gonna be kind of like a weird question, but do you feel like a normal person, or do you sometimes just like, or do you think of yourself maybe like, I'm this future NBA player, like, if you're in the supermarket, like, are you just thinking you're some normal kid, like, going shopping or something like that, or do you think, like, literally like a few years later, like, I'm gonna be an NBA player, like, how do you kind of view yourself?
I do view myself as a normal kid, for that part, like in the grocery store, like you said. But I know for myself, I have a lot more to lose than maybe some other kids that are my age. So I know to hold myself, accountable and to a higher standard for most things that I do. So I watch out, for how I act in public and, different things that could affect me now on and off the court.
And in terms of like, your cloud and all that stuff, because I mean you really don't have much being like a ranked ESPN player. Like, is that something you want, or is that really just something you just really don't care about at all?
Um, I guess it would be cool to have, but it's not something, that I would want, that I'm trying to chase out there or go after. Specifically, I just want to get to the next level of college, get to the next level of playing in the NBA. And, if it comes with that, with me going through that process, then, it's cool that it happened.
And when I first went to City of Palms on my sophomore year, just to just see the games, because I pretty much only knew because I didn't have Instagram. I wasn't really big on like high school basketball Twitter besides stuff in my area. Like, I didn't know there's all these like good players out there besides the ones that had tons of the clout that were being put on YouTube from Ball is Life and Slam It Overtime. So when I went there, like, I saw these teams and I had no idea who like half these players were. Like, I thought there was nobodies, and now I'm like dying to meet these guys. Like, have you ever had a moment with some people where, they may have seen you play and they really had no clue who you were when you're this like extremely high profile guy? Does that ever happen to you a lot?
No, not really. No, I can't say I've had that happen to me a lot where like people would tell me that they didn't really know who I was and I was really good. I have had people, come to me after the game and tell me I played a good game and that I play really well, but not really more so like they haven't really like known who I am or heard of me before.
Yeah, because like I'm not gonna lie to you, I know for a fact that if I probably saw you at an AAU tournament, maybe I don't know, like a year ago today or something like that, I literally had
Yeah.
no clue who you were, and I probably wouldn't even. I just be like, all right, this guy's is good. Like, I'd be like, oh, where's Mikey? Like, I'm watching this guy, but I don't even know who he is. That's probably what I would think, which is just crazy to think about. Like, that there are like tons of good players out there. When I only thought there's literally like 5 per class, which is unbelievable. But like, I didn't know any better because I just I didn't get to see all these different types of high school basketball players, and that's pretty much it. But sticking to like again the same thing with like social media and all that, like are you a big social media guy, or do you kind of stay away from that, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I have social media, I go on it, I usually go on it every day. But I'm not really, the guy to be on it for like hours and hours on end. Um, so I would say I'm not really a big social media guy, but I'm into it.
And 5 star Sky Clark, he said, I think he said Twitter is his favorite social media. So do you have like a favorite social media?
Um, Probably like Snapchat. That's probably what I be on the most.
Yeah, that's crazy. For me, I'm like the least opposite. Like, I find Snapchat like one of like the biggest. Well, TikTok I find the world's biggest. I deleted that like ages ago, like over a year ago. But Snapchat, like that thing, I'm like never on that anymore. I'm like the complete opposite. I don't know. I just find it like not a waste of time, but like I only use it to look at people's stories now. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like literally all I use it for. My best friends list, like, it used to be, like I used to be like a normal guy on Snapchat. Like, you have to, snap me a log on my best friends list now. I guarantee, like, I don't even Snapchat right now. And I probably said like hi, and you said like what's up. And then I said nothing much, chilling. How about you? And you were like, yeah, same here. You in my best friends list. Like, that's like that's how easy it is now, which I find kind of cool. But you were considered a stock riser, according to On the Radar Hoops for this summer. So why do you think that that happened to you, and what'd you do right to raise your stock?
This summer, I think I played pretty well on my team during my AAU season. I think I got the attention of a lot of college coaches. What I did, just tried to stay as consistent as I could throughout the season. Worked on my weaknesses a lot during the off season before we started playing, and I think that helped and translated to the game and helped me get to where it was.
And the high school season, that is going on for you currently, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So how has that been going so far?
Well, actually, I haven't played a high school game since December 3rd. Right now, my team we're 2-1. We played our last game, like I said, the third, and then a kid on our team came down with the virus, so we had to do a 2-week quarantine. Then during that quarantine, our school district had made a statement and said that all winter sports were canceled through January 3rd. So we've just been on hold for a little minute now. I think this week they decide whether we can play this weekend in a game Saturday. So I guess we're all just waiting to see, when we'll be able to play next.
Yeah, and luckily for a guy like you don't need a season so bad. Like it's not gonna make or break you, if you don't have a season or anything like that, especially because you're just a junior, like you still got one more year left. But with that kind of happening, like, you're not playing any games right now, you're just kind of probably working out, maybe practicing with their team. But is there a chance, like, are you ever trying to maybe get yourself on a national schedule in terms of high school basketball and maybe transfer over to one of those like powerhouse prep school programs, or do you think you're gonna stick it out, with your homeschool?
Well, I'm not really sure what the future holds for me. I know as of this season that I'm in right now, I'm gonna stick it out with the team I'm with. I think right now the biggest goal I'm focused on is winning a state championship with my team. And I think, whatever happens on next season, we'll wait till next season comes upon to, think about what the decision will be.
And have you guys been doing anything like to keep yourself active? Like, have you guys been allowed to practice, or no? Like, are you pretty much just doing nothing from the time period, or how are you being able to stay in shape?
I work out a lot, usually once, twice a day. So that's been helping me stay in shape. We have been able to practice with our high school teams. I think we were allowed 4 practices throughout the break we were on. So we had practice yesterday. Now that the week has started, we can get back to practicing. So we got practice today. So it's starting to pick up a little bit more than it was.
And you said sometimes like you work out twice a day. Can you maybe take us through like your average day?
Yeah, like an average day during the winter break we were on, I say I would get up at 9 o'clock, eat breakfast, brush my teeth and stuff like that. Usually I have a workout at 10 to go to with one of my assistant coaches on my AAU team. His name is Coach Sav. We probably work out for an hour, 30 minutes, maybe go a little over. Then I'll probably come home, get something to eat. Then I'll lift weights after. Then after that, I'll probably I was just chilling from that point on.
Yeah, that sounds like, man. So you go from working out and like a little bit of a break to lifting weights. Like, how do you? Is it really not that much? Like you said, you kind of chill for the rest of the night. Does that kind of help you like not make sure your body gets so fatigued, or sometimes like does it ever get kind of painful working out that often?
Nah, it doesn't get painful. Like I said, the rest throughout the day, that really helps. That really helps my body get its rest. I try to start my day early and get the workouts early, as possible, so I have more time throughout the day, just to rest and do things that I got to do.
And when you are like resting, I mean, what sorts of things do you do to not like recovery, like like sitting in an ice bath or something like that, but just what sorts of things do you do to like calm yourself or not calm yourself down, but to relax, from a day of like 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, more stuff that I do like to relax. I listen to music. I stretch. I try to stretch, after the workouts, so my body will still be loose. So just that and listening to music is, things I do after working out that helps me.
Yeah, and I don't know. I have a feeling I know who you listen to, or what's like your go to like artist that you listen to a lot.
Um, probably, probably like G Herbo or Lil Durk. Uh, Those are probably like the two artists I listen to a lot.
Man, that's but I was gonna say NBA Young or whatever Young Boy NBA and G Herbo, but I wasn't thinking Lil Durk though. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. I don't think I'm not like a big fan of G Herbo. I don't know. Like, why do you like? Why like? I don't know. I just like the way his voice sounds. I guess like why are you kind of big on him?
um, one of my cousins, one of my older cousins put me on to him. My dad and his side of the family is from Chicago too. So like my grandma and stuff lives there. So it's just somebody I've been listening to for a long time. I think he has good music.
Yeah, but Lil Durk though his new album though I think I think that album's like crazy good. I
Yeah,
think.
it is.
Yeah, but I would say at least me personally, I'm a big Juice World guy. I don't care what anyone says. Like I've listened to that guy for a while. I would put him as my favorite guy from Chicago. But Lil Durk's new album though, so like that's probably like all I've been listening to for the past like week. It's just that album. I just put on shuffle and that's all I listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that album goes crazy for sure. But continuing on, you said how like you train with your high school coach, or sorry, your AAU coach, something like that. Um, where he's with the Upward Stars. So how has it been playing for them?
It's been real good playing with the Upper Stars. It's a real good program with a real good group of coaches. They have a real good group of guys on each team. So it's been nothing but the best playing for them. I think I've grown, as a player, not only as a player but as a person too. So it's been real great getting the opportunity to play with them.
And what are your goals for your time with that program?
My goal is just get better. Just get everything I can out the program. Take every practice as hard as I can. Take the games seriously. For my team, I hope we do good if we get to play on the circuit this year. I hope we do good on the circuit, get to the finale, hopefully, and win. Those are just some of the goals that I have for it.
Definitely. And can you describe that transition that you've gone through, since you started playing through for Upward Stars to now, like how you changed as a player and as a person?
Like the Upper Stars, they're real. How do I say this? They're real. They're like religious oriented. So like, you know, the head director Curtis Willard, he's really in touch with God and Christianity, and that's a religion I have faith in also. So he'll send little quotes and stuff to me throughout the day and stuff. So I think that helps us build our relationship together as a coach and and a player. So I think that's helped me grow in that aspect also.
And so you would say, like, I guess having faith has been a big thing for you and your basketball career.
Yeah, it is. I believe you can do anything through Christ that strengthens you. Just having faith in God, He wouldn't give you a battle that you can't get through. So when times get hard, you pray to Him. When you get your blessings that you deserve, you pray to Him also. So just having Him by your side, I feel it makes everything easier.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. 100%. And just sticking to the Upward Stars, are there any programs are there any players that you may want to team up with at the next level from that of the Upward Stars team?
Um,
Or
I'm not really.
are you guys like not that big on like teaming up with players? Like you just kind of just like you'll commit to whatever school and hey, like all these guys are committed to, like cool, and if not, you don't really care.
Yeah, I was more so thinking. I actually never really even thought about really teaming up with somebody. I never really looked at it that much. But it would definitely be cool too. I think we got some real good guys on the team that can play some good basketball at the next level. So even whoever it is on my team that I might get the opportunity to play with at the next level, I think that would be real cool. But I don't have anybody specific though that I would want to.
Definitely. And someone else came up with Team USA basketball. Have you ever had an opportunity to do anything with them or no?
No, I haven't.
Okay, because I know like I'm sure you probably would have at least like get invited to their camp they have. Like not even be on the team, but I know they have like a camp they have to get invited to. I'm sure you would have gotten invited to that. But when did you end up getting ranked? Was that like recently or have you always been ranked? Like when did that happen for you?
I guess I recently got ranked on the ESPN. Not the most recent one that
Yeah,
came out.
what was the one before it?
Yeah, I was on the one before it too. So I'm probably like ninth grade, 10th grade, around sometime around there. Was probably where I went up in the rankings.
Yeah, well, just like when you did, well, if it was in ninth grade, I'm gonna assume it was in 10th grade because like I don't know, just I'm gonna go with 10th grade as my guess. I think. Do you know like how much you were out of like? Because I know if you're ninth grade, you'd be ranked top 25 or something like that. Then like junior year, that's when like, they start the transition from the 25 to 60. So do you know like which number you were in?
Oh, yeah. So whenever they transitioned it to 60, I guess that's when I got on it. I think I've always been somewhere around like the 30 area. So
Yeah,
anywhere from like 31 to like 35, I probably stayed in somewhere in that area.
yeah. So like being ranked, kind of recently, like was that at all a surprise to you, or was that just something you were expecting, or was it something that you pretty much like didn't care about at all? You're just like, oh, cool, and just kind of kept working. Like when you did see that for the first time, what sorts of thoughts were running through your mind?
I thought it was real cool. It's something I've seen a lot. Even when I was younger, I used to think that I would want to be on ranking list as I got older. So I know as of now, that was something I worked hard to do. So seeing myself on that list was real cool. But like I said, I just got back to work. I didn't dwell on it too much.
And with your recruitment process, what's been going on with that?
The recruitment process has been good. I like to thank all the coaches that reach out to me and that have recruited me. I think they all have done an excellent job with talking with me and, getting the chance to recruit me.
And being a very high profile prospect, even like besides the coaches and players you talk to, recruiting based, like what's been like some of the cooler celebrities you've talked to, during high school?
Celebrities I've talked to a couple former NBA player. I know I talked to Earl Boykin before. He's the assistant coach at Arkansas. So me and him have FaceTimed a couple times and talked with each other because he's showing me practices and stuff that they do. So I think I have a pretty cool relationship with him.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely super cool. And watching like a college practice, could maybe I'm sure like it's different from program to program, but could you describe like how that Arkansas practice was? Like, does it seem like a high school practice to you, or do you think there's like a big difference from like a high school practice to a college practice?
Yeah, it's definitely a difference. I think it's more people in the gym for one. You got a lot more trainers, graduate assistants, coaches in the gym at once. Um, I say from watching it, it's a lot fast paced, of course, because it's at the next level. So guys are faster and stronger. They're a lot more, not a lot more organized, but they have like everything they do is on like an organized schedule of we're doing this next and this next and so forth. So it's really different in that aspect.
And like when you first start playing basketball, like the stuff you'll do is super basic drills. Like your coach may even be like when you're 10 years old, like, all right, we're gonna do layup line as our drill. Like, stuff goes kind of basic to more complex. You say in terms of how the drills were, did it seem like they were a lot more complex in college, or would you say it's something similar to what you do in high school?
For the practices I've watched, they were the drills didn't seem that as complex. They were more like skill based drills. So shooting. You might shoot at this spot, run to the next spot, shoot, and back and forth. Or maybe it was like a defensive drill I saw where you'd run up, shuffle, slide to the right, back pedal. So it was just stuff like that.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because like I want to be a coach when I get older, and like I'm
Yeah.
not a team manager right now, and I go to college, I'm probably gonna do the same thing. So I'm just trying to get myself like ready. Like I don't want to go in there and be like, oh, I was not expecting this. Like I want to kind of have some sort of expectations because if I come in like with zero expectations, then it probably won't go too well. At least in the beginning, like I want to know like what some of the stuff I'm going to see. And I agree. Like it's kind of crazy because you would think like the practices in college and stuff are more difficult and stuff like that, but I feel like they are like a lot more like developmental based where they'll spend
Yeah.
time like just like almost just shooting around, like having someone rebound you and they just get shots up or some teaching you how to move. Like it doesn't seem more like practice. Seems more like just a glorified training in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure is that kind of did you have a chance to practice with the Upward Stars at all, or did you guys just kind of go and just play games? Like, are the AAU practices similar to a college practice?
Um, yeah, we have gotten a chance to practice. We did last season before playing. Um, it is some similarities I could say in between both of them. Like you said, it's a lot of skill based working. But with our team, we not only do that, but we work a lot of team drills. So playing 5-on-5, running up and down, trying to practice our sets that we run and different things like that.
Yeah, and then out of the schools that have offered you, which ones have been reaching out to you the most?
Um, the schools that probably reach out to me the most, Ohio State, Florida State, Texas Tech, LSU, Kansas. Who else? Who else? Who else? Clemson, Wake Forest, Alabama. I talked to a lot. Ole Miss, and there's a couple other schools I'm probably leaving off. Probably couldn't think all of them off the top of my head, but I talked to a good
Yeah,
amount of coaches a lot throughout the day or week.
yeah, that's crazy. So a school like Kansas, so Kansas has offered you before?
Yeah.
Man, so I mean, like a school like that, even if I'm not going there, like just having an offer from Kansas, just one of the best programs ever for college basketball. Like how crazy is that knowing that they've offered you and you could be, the next great Jayhawk.
It's definitely cool. It's definitely a blessing. When I got the phone call from the coach, I was real excited. I didn't that was one of the schools, that I thought was a real great program too, like you said. So just knowing that they were interested in me and my game, I was real happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty big time for sure. And like, when you're talking to these coaches, I mean, what sorts of things do you usually like talk about with them?
Um, some coaches, we usually talk about their team, how their team is playing, and if I came, how I would fit into what they would do, in their system. Some other coaches I have like a close connection with, so we not only talk about basketball, we might talk about family and stuff like that.
And with like the coaches you're talking to, I mean, how do you handle that? Because it's even like me with my interviews, like I got to schedule these interviews. It's not like it's not like there's like unlimited hours in a day where you could just kind of pick whatever you want. Like you only got 20, not even 24 hours because you got to sleep at some point too. But how do you kind of handle talking to coaches along with balancing out basketball and like media attention and school? Like how are you able to handle that?
Usually, if I get a phone call from a coach, I'll just answer right then on the spot, whenever I'm doing and just talk with them and, see what he's talking about. But like as far as like text messages and stuff, I usually like throughout the day, I usually have like not a set time, but like I
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
time where I'll
They'll
respond
do
to all
homework and
of
then
them
check
at
your phone
once.
after or something like that.
Yeah, I have like a time where I'll respond to them all at once. So, there won't be too much like, oh, I forgot to text them back at this time and this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. Like you say, like if you get a call from a coach, kind of pick it up on the spot. Has there ever been, a time where you were talking to a coach and it like, you could have been, I don't know, like walking from class to class at your school, like and you got a call from a coach and like, oh, like it's gotta pick it up and do it. How's there been like or like eating at a restaurant, you got a call from a coach and he's like took it. Has there ever been like a crazy spot where you were talking to a coach before?
Yeah, it's been times I've been in class at school. This back when school was, still going normal, and there was times where I was in class and I had a college coach come to see me. So our coach had to call my teacher, and she had to tell everybody in front of the class that like I had a college coach I had to go downstairs and talk to during class. I've had coaches call me in the grocery store and stuff like that. So it's just whenever it happens.
And like for some players, I mean, because I've talked to players, like there was one guy I interviewed. I'm not gonna say his name, but let's say he was in the car with he's not even big time, but I was interviewing him. And he's at Hillcrest Prep, and I guess like he was playing with them AAU basketball, and he was in the car with like Keontae Clay and Michael Foster, and we did the interview with him in the car, with all of them in the car pretty much, and that just went terrible. Like you could barely hear it like that. So and Michael Foster was like blasting music. Like we ended up redoing the interview because I was like, there's no way I'm like putting this out there. Like are you a good guy to talk to people, with stuff going on in the background? Like some players get so distracted. Like you can't, like, for most players, you can't have a conversation with them in the grocery store. Like they're just like, you'll say like, "What's up?" and he's like, "Wait, what'd you say?" Like they're all like that. I mean, are you good at locking in those conversations?
Yeah, I am. Usually if I get a call, in a place where there's a lot of noise and stuff, I try to go to the, most quiet place I can, and sit down and talk with them and then get back to what I'm doing after the call is over. So, it's never like usually too distracting when I'm talking to somebody.
And with me, like, want to be a coach. I mean, I'm trying to talk to college coaches. Like, I've had a few conversations with some college coaches, and I guess because like I want to learn, and they're coaches where they have like a lot of knowledge to share. Like those stuff go on for hours. Like I could talk to college coaches for like hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, how long are your usual phone call conversations with them?
Um, It usually depends on how often I talk to them. For schools that I talk to a lot, maybe you call me. My phone call might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Schools that haven't called me in maybe such a time, we do some catching up. So maybe the call might go 20, 25 minutes. So it just usually, depends on like what they have to say.
Yeah, so it's nothing like me because yeah, I'm telling you, like, I talk coaches like usually I would say hour, like 45 minutes at least when I'm talking to coaches. But for you, it's kind of like a quick little phone call.
Yeah, it's just a quick little phone call, to see how I'm doing, how I'm playing, maybe like how my season is going and stuff like that. It was longer at first, when they first started calling so they could get to know me better. But as I gotten closer with them, I wouldn't say they became shorter, but it's not really as in depth
Yeah.
as it was at the beginning. Because when they were first calling, they were asking you, "Oh, where you're from, where your parents from," getting to trying to ask them more questions to getting to know me.
And how did you learn like how to talk to college coaches? Like, have you always been a guy with good manners? Because like it seems like like you kind of know your manners, like how to talk to people, stuff like that. But did you just learn over time? Like this is how you talk to coaches. Like in the beginning, did you not really know what to do, or how did you develop that skill?
I just developed the skill by listening to what they ask me and, thinking of my answer before I say it, not just talking just to talk, make what I say have meaning to it. So I think that helped me a lot talking to coaches, and, speaking with different people.
Yeah. And which schools have showed you some recent interest?
Some schools that showed me recent interest that I don't have offers from, North Carolina, Auburn, and Georgia.
Man, that's a school. I mean, North Carolina, like that's kind of like my dream school. Like I'm not even gonna apply there, but like I would just love to go to that school. I mean, how insane was that? Like the stuff you're saying. I mean, like some people dream of like just saying the stuff that you've been telling me. Like how crazy is that for you?
It was real crazy. I talked to Coach Rob when he called me the first time. It was real crazy. Because North Carolina, that's a legendary school. Even Michael Jordan went there. So just hearing him say that, that they're interested in my game too was just real crazy. I felt real good about it also.
And something I'm wondering, like, dude, this kind of like a negative kind of question, but I saw like some of the seniors I've interviewed in the past, or I guess they're now freshmen in college, or they were seniors, like ranked, by ESPN, like 3 stars at least. And I was like, ooh, let me see how they're doing in college right now. And I searched them up, and they're like not even getting in the games, like, and they are great kids. Like, it's not because they're like, they don't know how to behave. Like, they weren't getting in games, barely playing. Like, is that a question you ask coaches? Like, if I go to your school, am I going to play right away? And is that something that you want in a school?
That's definitely something I want in the school. I want to go to a school where I come in my freshman year and play some good minutes and make an impact. That's not really a question I ask coaches a lot, though. I don't think I've ever asked a coach, "Will I play?" He can tell you one thing. You get there, it could be completely different. So I feel like with making that decision, you have to just do your research a lot on different schools. On how many players are in your position that are already there, or how many players are leaving. by the time you'll get there. So just doing your research on different schools and then going to a school where you're wanted, I feel like that's a big key to it too. You don't want to go somewhere where, just for the name, you want to go somewhere where you're wanted and you can play. So when you get there, you won't have any problems like that.
Yeah, definitely. And usually something like some coaches will tell you one thing, but then it's really like, not that. Is there ever like a fear of yours? Like you may, go to the school, like sounded great, but then, ends up not really be like as good as, you heard it was. And how are you trying to prevent that from happening? Because like you said, you research like, what guys are seniors that are going to leave and like all that stuff. But I'm sure there's other things too where you can't really do too much research on that besides talking to players. So how do you kind of prevent that from happening when it comes time to make your decision?
When it comes time, I think stuff that I'll do, like you said, you can maybe like talk to former players of the team, maybe players that are on the team right now. You look at players that are already committed to the school that are maybe in your grade too, that might play your same position. And like how I said, research who's already in your position there and who's leaving. So just different stuff like that, and talking to the coaches because sometimes you can just get a feel on how much the coach really likes you, how y'all talk to each other and stuff. So just stuff like that, I think that'll help me when it's time for me to make my decision.
And have you ever reached out to any players yet to ask them some questions about like the schools that have offered you, or have you not done that yet?
Reached out. I haven't reached out to them, over the phone. I have talked to some players in person though, that maybe have played for a former coach, or like I went to visit at Clemson. I think probably like a year ago, maybe even less than probably a year ago. I went to a football game, so I got to talk to with some of the players. I got to sit down and eat with them. So I was just asking them questions, on like how the team is, how the coaches is, how like the team chemistry and things like that. So I think that helped me with that decision too.
Yeah, it's definitely super cool. And like going on a visit like that where you get to hang out with the players, even though you may even have been like a more highly touted prospect in high school compared to them. But was that at all like intimidating, like meeting those guys, still being in high school and all that stuff?
No, it wasn't intimidating. It was real cool. They were all, real welcoming, real cool guys, and they understood, that they were once in my position as a little high school prospect wanting to go to college. So they were real welcoming. It was a real cool opportunity to sit down and eat with them, and they said some great things to me.
And can you maybe share some of your high school career goals?
Yeah, some as like a career goal in high school, just winning state championship at my school. I think that's the biggest goal right now that I'm focused on. I think we have a good team this year. We probably have a chance at it. So, just working as hard as I can to achieve that one. That's probably my biggest high school career goal right now.
And for South Carolina basketball, I mean, definitely, it's a pretty solid state to be in. Like, what sort of impact do you want to leave on South Carolina basketball once you head off to college and hopefully make a pro career out of it?
Yeah, it is like you said, a good state. Probably the impact I want to leave off is a player that was good, that worked hard, that showed his consistency on the court, and that was even a better person off the court.
Yeah, for sure, my guy. And before we end the interview, is there anything you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
Um, nah.
All right, man. Well, even though you don't use Instagram, I'm still going to plug it anyway. So make sure you guys give him a follow on Instagram at Julian Phillips, except for instead of an L and Julian, it's a one. And I'm at iHoopsFL. And anyways, for 2022, Blythewood forward, Julian Phillips. I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.